As Bill Mulcahy strolls through the East Washington Cemetery, he studies the gravestones, each with a story to tell.
Look at this, served at the Battle of Bunker Hill.
This small historic cemetery is tucked away under the shade of old maple trees. Headstones dating back to the early 1800s overlook picturesque Mill Pond.
Oh boy, this is a little person, only 1 month and 8 days old.
Bill, who summers in East Washington, searches burial sites as a volunteer for the website Find a Grave. He helps people locate the resting places of their ancestors. Armed with requests that had no grave markers, Bill turned to cemetery trustee Kitty West for a map with plot numbers.
This is the cemetery plan.
While scouring the records, one entry, unrelated to Bill's original assignment, jumped out at him.
It just said, boy shot on Mill Hill. And where all the other plots had a name associated with it, that's all this had.
Bill now had a personal mission: uncover the identity of the boy shot on Mill Hill. He located his gravesite, just a slight indentation in the mossy grass.
That's all there is to mark that somebody's there. And, it gives you kind of a sad, lonely feeling.
As cemetery trustee, Kitty had long been curious about the mysterious entry.
I had so many questions about the boy, and I thought, well, maybe this was a 13, 14-year-old boy that went out on his own and just happened to be passing through Washington, and he was shot by a hunter or a farmer. Maybe he was stealing eggs or something. And nobody knew his identity.
A simple rule in historical research: start with what you know. Bill had little to go on: no name, no date.
I know they're in the 1908 section, the section that opened about that year, but that doesn't really tell me anything, because it could be any time from 1908 to, I'm searching in 2019, so anywhere in that 110-year gap.
His first resource, Ancestry.com. He searched Sullivan County in 2-year increments, starting with 1905, boys who died between the ages of 5 and 18. No luck.
I thought, well, there's some kind of a tragedy here, some kind of a story, and it probably would have gotten into the newspapers at the time.
He ran into more dead ends in the Hillsborough Messenger.
I'm reading through literally dozens and dozens of records, and you get blurry-eyed. You just keep on going because the next one might be it.
His persistence paid off. A column in the Argus and Spectator chronicled the daily happenings in East Washington. Sam Reynolds is working for Ed Hoyt, haying for a few days. Mrs. Ella Gage was thrown from her wagon when her horse fell down. And then a breakthrough.
You get that little shiver, and it was just 2 lines. 2 boys playing with firearms. One of the boys had been shot and fatally shot.
His first concrete clue. Still no name, but he had a date, July 30th, 1910. Now Bill could go back to the original newspaper, the Hillsborough Messenger, and dig deeper. He immediately got a hit, a snippet on page 8. A sheriff's investigation found the shooting to be accidental. Bill also learned it happened in the adjacent county, opening up new search opportunities. When he plugged in Hillsborough County on Ancestry.com, the first record to appear mentioned a 7-year-old boy who died instantly from a gunshot wound.
So I knew there I had found the identity of the boy shot on Mill Hill. His name was Clifford Charles Butler. It was an amazing feeling. I literally had tears in my eyes. It was a very powerful moment.
The first person Bill contacted, Kitty West.
And I said, I have the biggest grin on my face just to know we have an identity. He's real. He's a person.
But Bill had just scratched the surface. He wanted to delve deeper into the story buried beneath. How did Clifford Charles Butler end up shot? What were he and his family doing in East Washington? Why had his grave been left unmarked? The mystery unfolded in another newspaper article. Clifford and a cousin were exploring some abandoned farms up on Mill Hill, the rise just past Mill Pond. They entered an old farmhouse where they found a musket.
They started using matches to try to touch off the powder inside. The cousin suggested to Clifford that he want to try to blow down into the muzzle to push the powder back down further. And just as Clifford got positioned over the barrel of the musket, it went off. 7 years, 9 months, and 19 days old. That's all he got out of life.
Clifford's funeral was held at the East Washington Baptist Church, which sits on the edge of the cemetery. Bill discovered Clifford was the only child of Ralph and Alice Butler of Putney, Vermont. Ralph was an itinerant lumberman, moving wherever he could find work. They had only been in East Washington a few weeks when Clifford was killed and left almost immediately after.
I was hoping to find a picture or somebody that knew maybe more to the story, but I didn't.
Now that Clifford's identity is known, Bill wants to make sure it's never forgotten. He and Kitty shared the cost of a headstone. Clifford C. Butler, 1902 to 1910, and the carefully chosen words, "He was loved."
We know the parents, for whatever reason, they couldn't put a marker there. But there's just no question in my mind that, they loved this boy and were devastated by his loss.
I always look at it and I'm happy to see it there. See that he has an identity. And I hope his parents are pleased.
Clifford Charles Butler, no longer anonymous. His headstone now stands tall beside the other remembered souls at rest.